I've been chasing hidden gems for as long as I can remember. There's something special about the ones that slip through the cracks. The late-night discoveries, the movies you stumble on by accident, but never forget. They don't need awards or big names. They've got heart, atmosphere, that feeling you can't quite put into words. These are the films that stay with me, and maybe, after this, they'll stay with you too. Eating Raoul begins quietly, with Paul and Mary Bland, a perfectly dull couple dreaming of opening their own restaurant. But they're broke. Trapped in their tiny apartment, surrounded by neighbors obsessed with pleasure, excess, and everything Paul and Mary despise. Then one night, a drunken swinger stumbles into their home. An accident happens, and suddenly, Paul and Mary see a dark opportunity. They lure wealthy swingers into their apartment, rob them, and quietly dispose of the bodies. It's absurd, horrifying, and yet somehow strangely funny. Not laugh-out-loud funny, more like humor that makes you deeply uncomfortable. Paul Bartel, and Mary Woronov, aren't evil people. They're gentle, polite, and completely ordinary. But desperation can twist even ordinary people into something else. Enter Raoul, a slick locksmith who discovers their secret and demands a cut. Greed and suspicion poison the arrangement, pushing Paul and Mary deeper into darkness. The tension never explodes, it festers. Every absurd conversation, nervous glance, and calmly executed crime reveals something deeply unsettling beneath their polite smiles. The film isn't just satire. It's about how easily morality crumbles when survival feels impossible. Paul and Mary rationalize each act with unsettling logic. They're not monsters, they tell themselves. They're just regaining control. By the end, you're left laughing, but deeply uneasy, wondering just how thin the line really is between desperation and depravity, and what ordinary people might become when pushed too far. I first watched Pump Up the Volume alone, late at night, lit only by the glow of a cheap TV. I wasn't expecting much, just another teen drama. But then I heard that voice, Mark's voice. Christian Slater plays him with this quiet intensity, awkward by day, brutally honest by night as Hard Harry, broadcasting from a hidden pirate radio station in his basement. He's not being edgy for the sake of it. He's aching, furious in that quiet, lonely way so many of us know, speaking into the void, saying the things no one else will. This world is messed up, and no one's listening. And I felt it. Maybe you have too. That sense of being trapped, voiceless, invisible. Harry wasn't just ranting, he was shaking the walls, giving shape to what others buried. Soon, his words spiral. Authority wants him silenced, because voices like his, honest ones, threaten the silence that keeps people in control. And that's the risk. If he speaks up, he pays the price. But if he doesn't, the truth dies with him. So he speaks louder, harder, because silence means surrender. Watching it again now, the message feels more urgent than ever. The loneliness, the desperation, the hunger to matter. Mark's voice still echoes today, reminding us, your voice matters, even when it shakes, especially then. Pump Up the Volume isn't just a cult classic. It's a signal sent out into the dark, waiting for someone to tune in. And maybe, just maybe, that someone is you. The Accidental Tourist begins in stillness, with Macon Leary quietly packing his suitcase, not like a traveler eager for adventure, but like a man trying to erase every trace of chaos from his life. Macon, William Hurt, writes travel guides for people who hate traveling. Each trip carefully scripted, every step controlled. No surprises, no mess. He's not just organizing trips, he's trying to organize grief. After losing his son, Macon builds routines so rigid they dull the pain. His marriage, strained by loss, eventually collapses, leaving him alone in a life that feels safe and completely numb. Then comes Muriel, Gina Davis, a dog trainer with wild energy and no filter. She's everything Macon isn't: messy, emotional, impulsive. And when their worlds collide, something shifts. Muriel doesn't just train his dog. She starts to undo him, gently. Bit by bit, she cracks the armor he spent years perfecting. At first, he resists. She brings chaos. He clings to silence. But she doesn't push, she just stays. Their connection is awkward, hesitant. Two people stumbling through grief and hope, trying not to break each other. Muriel doesn't fix him, but she shows him how to exist with the mess, how to love without needing everything to be clean. The accidental tourist doesn't rush. It sits with you, because healing doesn't arrive with fanfare. It creeps in, quietly, imperfectly, and asks you to stay a little longer. Sling Blade begins with Carl Childers sitting in silence, waiting quietly in the shadows of a psychiatric hospital. Carl, played by Billy Bob Thornton, who also wrote and directed this film, has spent decades institutionalized for a childhood murder. Now he's returning to society, a man with limited understanding of the outside world, yet somehow deeply aware of life's complexities. Thornton's performance is extraordinary, quiet, nuanced, unsettlingly gentle. He embodies Carl completely. His posture, his careful walk, the low rumble of his voice, revealing a childlike innocence buried beneath heavy burdens. Returning to his small Arkansas hometown, Carl befriends a young boy named Frank, Lucas Black, who sees beyond Carl's unsettling demeanor. Their friendship forms quietly, carefully. Each scene between them, filled not with big speeches, but subtle glances, simple words, moments of genuine kindness. But Frank's mother, Vera Natalie Canarday, struggles to fully understand Carl. She tries, cautiously. Yet the small-town rumors and sideways looks build quiet tension. Never explosive, just quietly dangerous. Thornton lets the film breathe. The camera lingers on Carl's face, emotions shifting gently, unspoken pain, quiet wonder, silent clarity. The real power isn't in action, but in silence. It's in Carl's stillness, his cautious understanding, his struggle for acceptance, not from the world, but from himself. This isn't simply redemption. It's about finding peace when the world might never fully embrace you. Sling Blade reminds us, softly, that compassion doesn't need a spotlight. Sometimes it shows up quietly and stays with you long after the moment has passed. Chilly Scenes of Winter opens in the cold, not just winter's chill, but that deep, lingering frost of loneliness. Charles, John Hurd, moves through life quietly. He wants love desperately, but isn't quite sure how to hold on to it. He's stuck in emotional limbo, still haunted by his breakup with Laura, Mary Beth Hurt, a woman he can't quite forget and can't truly win back. There's no explosive drama here, just small, aching moments of hesitation. Charles and Laura circle each other gently, caught between past warmth and present coldness. Conversations trail off. Glances miss their mark. and romantic disappointment becomes routine, just another part of Charles's daily winter. The film's power lies in its subtlety. Each pause lingers, quietly devastating. Charles isn't a hero or villain. He's simply human, awkwardly stumbling toward connection, constantly falling short. Laura drifts in and out of his life, each encounter a flicker of warmth, quickly fading. Charles waits, quietly hoping something will thaw between them, but never quite knowing how to break the ice. This isn't a love story about grand gestures. It's about small, imperfect attempts at closeness, the quiet desperation in everyday moments, and about how difficult it can be to accept that sometimes love isn't enough. By the end, the film doesn't give clear answers, just the quiet, unshakable realization that moving on is never simple. Sometimes life isn't about dramatic change. It's about learning to endure the cold, waiting patiently, hoping quietly for spring. These films didn't demand attention, they quietly earned it. And maybe one found you tonight, exactly when you needed it. If you're ready for more hidden gems, hit subscribe, stay close, and let's keep exploring the stories that stick with us. Here at Vintage Verse, we celebrate films that matter. Not loudly, but in the quiet way that lasts.